Morning. We're going to open the Human Services meeting. First order is to approve the minutes from last month's meeting. Supervisor Sokol, second. Supervisor Wood, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. With that, Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. As evidence on the agenda, I have two items for consideration this morning. The first is a amendment to add money to the budget for Trade Adjustment Act funding. There are 10 customers. None of them are new customers, but for most of them, it's the second year of funding for their training. 5 are from Covidien, 4 from BARD, and 1 from Travelers.
Okay, motion made by Supervisor Gerard, second by Supervisor Vansel. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next item is a resolution request to have the chairman sign the local plan for the Saratoga Warren Washington Workforce Investment Board. As I had mentioned in my email, this is really kind of a formality. Back in 2009, we prepared a 3-year plan, and for each of the last 2 years, it's been a single-year plan. And so it's really the same document, word for word, verbatim, as the chairman has signed each of the past 2 years. A copy of the plan is on the website, the WID website, which I referenced in the email, and I also sent people a copy if they had any questions or comments.
All right, someone like to make that motion? Supervisor Wood, second. Supervisor Vansel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And then just under old business, I just wanted to update the committee about some of the building issues that we have been having. I know you're all aware that we temporarily relocated up to the Human Service Building in April. We did move back in June. Since that initial roof leak back in March, there have been additional leaks. The most recent one Tuesday after Labor Day. And a lot of them just been a series of errors. Most were related to the heating, ventilation, air conditioning units on the roof. The last leak was because, and I can't make this up, bees got into the condensate line. If you remember, Labor Day was really hot and humid, so the air conditioner was running a lot, and the condensate line was plugged, so all of that water that would have been exhausted came into the building. And there was literally a 50-gallon pail that was nearly full when we came in Tuesday morning from the HVAC unit leaking. Part of the reason why I bring it up is because at the end of the year our lease is up, and as you all know, we're a subtenant to the Department of Labor, and the state is actually in charge of doing the investigation and the procurement. And we're waiting for them to issue what is called a request for information, similar to a request for proposals, where they just look for information of sites. And that's where we are, but I wanted to make sure the committee was aware of what was going on. We are waiting for the landlord to do the final cleanup, which is basically coming in with a vacuum cleaner with a HEPA filter to clean out the space. We do have one staff person that's still working in the Human Service Building. And when that's done and we get a clear air test, then she would return. That's the situation.
Thank you.
Unless there's questions.
Has this affected your work greatly, or just a little bit, or colleagues, interruptions?
I mean, it's certainly been an inconvenience. Yeah, one of the real interesting things is employment is really up. So our number of customers that we're seeing has been significantly down over the past couple of years. One of the things that we do every 3 weeks is we send out letters and contact people that are on unemployment but haven't been in the office in a few weeks. And those numbers are tracking around 80, 85 the last several months. A year ago they were 320. And 2 years ago, they were in the 700s. So the number of customers that we're seeing is significantly down from the peaks 2 years ago during the recession. So that's been fortunate.
That you're coming close to where we can abolish your department?
There'll always be need for training. Yeah, no, I know.
Right.
I know being somewhat new, I'm not sure, in terms of the work arrangement or the location.
Mhm.
I know recently you said you had those problems when you went over the Human Services building.
Right.
But during that, I had learned, we pay a rent,
Right, we do.
to be where you are
Yeah.
now, and I assume we wouldn't pay that rent if we were at the Human Services building. I'm just wondering, what's the advantage or disadvantage to being off-site versus in a building where there's some space available?
Yeah, based on the funding, we're required to be with the Department of Labor. And while there was enough space for our department, because there's only 7 of us in the Human Service building, there's, depending on the day, because there's a couple of field staff that work for the Department of Labor, 15 or 16 Department of Labor staff. So there wasn't enough room for everybody in the Human Service building. Many of us felt that would have been the perfect solution, perfect long-term solution.
Yeah, so I guess for some reason, is there not a lot of space over there that's still open? Is that just kind of a myth?
Well, just to give you an idea, I did talk with Frank several times. We currently have about 9,000 square feet, and the most space that he felt would be available was 3,500.
Oh.
So, it was significantly less. And even though we wouldn't need conference rooms and restrooms and things like that, we still need, at least 6,000 or 7,000 square feet. And like I said, there's only 3,500 available.
Well, that makes sense. So your ideal location would have been up here, but it just doesn't.
We felt, yeah.
Oh,
We really enjoyed being here, and there was a lot of good synergy with DSS.
that's what I was thinking.
Especially with our youth. Yeah, so for that perspective, it worked out really well.
Like one-stop shopping,
Yeah,
kind of.
exactly.
Anyone else have any questions? All right, thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah.
updating us on that, too. Christie?
Yeah, renovate.
She forwarded some information to you. You don't know.
I'm trying to, I've been so busy.
Remember, she has the person who left over there, her secretary, and it's too late.
Got to, yeah.
Right, you
Really
really
need to.
And I didn't get anything from her, and I know Joan got it. And I issued in the next email I got, it sounded like she had forwarded the information.
Maybe. I was out 3 days last week, and I'm still trying to get caught
Oh,
up.
I understand it. So really, we aren't gonna do anything about it, because I have nothing in front of me for that. Do you have anything?
I just have an email that Joan left, and she said she was gonna leave the request with you.
Oh, you Christie?
I don't have it.
Let me check for them.
All right, yeah, 'cause there was one email.
Okay.
Okay.
When was this? This was on Friday, September 26th? Oh, so this was just on Friday?
Right.
Oh, well, let me check.
Okay. Could I bother you for an agenda, please?
Oh.
Thank you.
And there's
Okay, you're all set.
All that? Okay. All right. Don't be frightened. I know it looks like a lot, but it's mostly fairly standard items, and so I'll just get right into it. The first is an extension of our lease with the Lake Pleasant Senior Center. That houses our Lake Pleasant nutrition site. It's standard, budgeted. It's wholly paid for by Hamilton County.
The whole dollar.
Yep.
Can we get that down
We get down what they pay us.
from $1?
Oh, I thought you meant whole dollar, like whole amount. Yeah, no.
All right, then. Ms. Wood made the motion, the second, Supervisor Sokol. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay. The next is to extend our contract for the state mandated reporting system for the Ombudsman program. The Ombudsman program monitors the nursing homes, the area nursing home, assisted living facilities. We're required to have this separate reporting system because the information is so confidential.
Motion by Supervisor Gerard, second by Supervisor Wood. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next one is to replace our typist. It's a request to fill. Our typist took a position with, the Department of Social Services. It is the person that greets everyone when they come into the office. They answer all the phones. They schedule all our home delivered meals visits. I spoke to Gretchen and I spoke to Paul this morning. It's not really a position that we could do without or reduce hours. It's, one of the only positions that stays, you know, in the office all day, as opposed to a lot of the aging services workers that are in the field, so.
All right, motion made by Supervisor Gerard, second. Supervisor Wood, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next position is for our food service manager at our Cedars meal site, which is the largest site. This person manages 6 staff members. They do 400 meals a day. They have 2 satellite sites at First Presbyterian and Solomon Heights. It's a 35-hour-a-week employee, and it's reimbursed federally and with state funds at about 81%.
Okay. A motion. Supervisor Vanslo, second. Supervisor Seaver, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next request is to apply for New York Connect funding. This is program year 8 of New York Connect. It is 100% reimbursed. It's $85,880, and it's for the 10/1/14 to 9/30/15 program year.
Supervisor Sokol, second by Supervisor Gerard. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next request is a miscellaneous request to submit our annual plan with budget to the New York State Office for the Aging. It's our annual implementation plan that provides all funding.
A motion made by Supervisor Vanslo, second. Supervisor Gerard. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next.
The next is another miscellaneous. It's to retain the services of Deb Colts, who was our previous nutrition services coordinator, as a consultant to the nutrition program to exclusively assist in the completion of home delivered meals visits on an as needed basis. We are finding it really difficult to keep up with the home visits required by the state for the meals program. We have about anywhere from 700 to 900 people on the program. We're supposed to see them within 10 days of starting, and we get maybe, last week we had 30. During the winter, it tends to increase because more people want the home delivered meals as they don't want to go out. We got written up for it last year on our evaluation, and I think having Debbie able to do some of those visits would really help. I had her at her current rate of $21 an hour, not to exceed 40 hours per month. She did do this for us when we were filling her position, before we filled the position. I have it not to exceed 40 hours per month. We had it weekly, but sometimes, depending on how the visits pan out, you know, where the new people are, and I think it would be better to be able to have her do, 12 visits in 12 hours in 1 week, and then just 40 lump sum in the month, rather than say only 10 hours per week.
Someone would like to make that motion? Supervisor Vanslo, seconded by Jim. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries.
The next request is transfer of funds. Really just moving around money to cover end of the year expenses. I do it every year, just end of year adjustments, just putting money where I think we're going to need it to close out the end of the year.
Okay, motion made by Supervisor Gerard, second. Supervisor Seaver, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next one, I just added these because I had a conversation with the chairman of the board up in Hamilton County, and I can't remember if they were on your original that I sent you. It's to rescind the contract with Hamilton County Public Health for Title IIIe funds. It's home health aid services that they're just not able to provide up there, and so it kind of goes part and parcel with the next request. So I'm going to rescind the contract for 3E with Hamilton County Public Health, but then I'm asking to increase the Helping Hands contract because they have the aides, and, they're able to provide, they're not gonna provide home health aide level, which is, where we were kinda getting into trouble with the previous contract, just because the requirements are high and they don't have the workforce to provide those units. But Helping Hands can use those funds in, community services program. And so I wanna take it from Hamilton County Public Health and move it to Helping Hands. And I have spoken to, as I said, Phil Farber contacted me about it, and I've spoken to the Director of Public Health and Helping Hands. And so I wanna take their money from them and give it to Helping Hands.
Is this an increase of 9,500?
Yeah. Yup, it is. It's an addition to the, they already have 11,000 under community services. This is an increase of $9,500. And the CSE that I'm putting it into, runs through March of next year. That's the contract terms. It's an April 1st to March 31st contract.
You have that money added?
Yup, it's budgeted. Yup, it's there.
I'll vote.
All right, second to that, Supervisor Vanslo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, and the last two are requests to attend a meeting or convention. One is for my nutrition services coordinator to go to the annual New York State Senior Nutrition Conference. It's in Albany, but it is $140, so I need requests to do that. Just no overnight.
Okay, someone like to make that motion? Supervisor Wood, second. Supervisor, I'm sorry, Sokol. All those in favor? Aye. Yes,
I just
Rachel.
had a quick question, I'm sorry.
Sure.
On here, it says she's staying in Albany after the training, I think that's just a personal
Yeah,
thing.
that's why she's not taking a county card, because she's gonna stay with a friend down there.
Okay.
So she's gonna take her own vehicle. Yep.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, old
And-
business.
Oh, the last one, I have one more request.
Oh, okay.
That's for me to attend
Oh,
the
okay.
Aging New York Leadership Institute in Watkins Glen. It's annual training that all the directors from across the state, all the state aging directors go to. It is an overnight. I would take a county vehicle. It's budgeted.
Okay, I need a motion. Supervisor Gerard, second. Supervisor Vanslo. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Question, Rachel, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I just don't see a cost on this.
The cost for that is, it's $190 hotel, it's $315 altogether, plus $125 conference fees.
The $315 plus the $125?
No, $315 altogether. $190 hotel and $125 conference fee.
And that just comes right out of your budget?
Yeah, I do it every year, yeah. Very.
Okay.
All right. The old business pending item, I'm not entirely sure what the questions were, because this was the one meeting where I was, at a meeting downtown and you guys kind of went ahead.
Oh, that's right.
And so I'm not sure what the questions were about the increased electrical costs of the town of Johnsburg.
Ron, maybe you could fill us in.
I haven't got a clue.
Oh. I think, if I could venture a guess, I think it might be just because, we do the 5-year terms and every year we budget a slight increase. And the town kind of asks for that just to cover them, but we don't pay any more than actual expenses. It's up to but not exceeding, but every year we build in kind of a buffer, to the structure of the lease. I don't know if that was the question. Electrical costs are increasing a little bit, but not, you know.
Is electrical usage increasing versus cost?
No.
Because cost is
Nope.
obviously out of our
Yeah.
your control.
No, the usage is not increasing.
Guess that answers that question then. Anyone have any questions for Christie? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and the last thing, Paul, we have is,
The information.
okay, this is from the Veterans Affairs. Her part-time secretary left to take a job with Social Services, so that position is open. It's a part-time position, so she would like to fill that position. So I guess I'm looking for a motion from someone so that we can get that moving. Supervisor Wood, seconded by Supervisor Gerard. Any questions? Rachel?
I think I was fortunate enough to be able to sit in on this budget discussion.
Yes.
Right. I think this was the one with the veteran secretary that, about Yeah, I just wondered if there was any headway with the grant monies or with, they were taking a look at that salary structure. It seemed really off compared to the other. She was talking about really needing to find a way to compensate because of the high turnover with this position and how
Right,
valuable it
she
is.
said she'd been in the job for 5 years and she's had 5 secretaries, and it's always because it's part-time, they're looking for full-time work, so she uses the secretary. She said if she had a secretary, more of the time she would be able to bring more money in because she would have more time to work on those other projects rather than basically part of the week sitting there answering the telephone. And we did bring it to Frank, but I guess we didn't get any place as far as being able to increase that any place along the way. All right. Did we ever come up with anything where she said we could get a grant through?
We did take her first, step, which was to contact a particular county, and I can't remember unfortunately what the county was, but it turned out that that was not, something that was able to be used by us in terms of providing for additional funding. It was a different type of program altogether that they were engaged in. Since then, though, she has given me, 2 or 3 other leads, which we will, track down before the budget committee meets, so that so we can take a look at it and see if there is funding available.
Well, it would be good if we could get that. I think it would be wonderful to have that as a full-time position. All right, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Anyone have anything they'd like to bring up? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Supervisor Wood, second by Supervisor Gerard. Thank you. Just want to hand out this one sheet, though, to the veterans people that, Denise